Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Societal Narcissism, and this video is sponsored by contribution from Miriam. And Miriam gave a general contribution, which I'm going to use for this video. We have another one. I'm assuming is baby boomer. And again, not all boomers, but the boomers are the ones on the internet doing this shit. We got another boomer crying, starting one of these channels about being gone no contact with by their adult children. This video I watched a minute of, and I got to a certain point and like, okay, this is the next one up. And this person only has about 500 and something people, subscribers, but the video has almost 17,000 views. So with that being said, let's just get into it, and you'll see the point where I just stopped it and went back to start recording. Here we go.
Hello Facebook, we are back and we are talking in
Facebook, okay, the narcissist playground.
our series about coping with difficult adult children. Now this week we're going to talk about
difficult adult children, which I bear no responsibility for.
Manipulation, and I'm going to start on a humorous note. And you may say, how is that possible? How is it funny to be manipulated? Well, my comment here is this: if you've parented any children at all, you know that they come out of the womb knowing how to manipulate us.
That's where I stopped. So from the womb, you're the problem. This is what they're fucking going with. You come out of the womb with the ability to manipulate grown-ass adults. This is what they're going on the internet trying to tell people. Like, at that point, you're responsible for nothing, because out of the womb, you're a manipulative child with the ability to manipulate them in any way you want. 39 seconds in, so that's about as much as I've seen from this video. So all the rest of this, I'm watching cold. Ugh. Oh, God. Out of the womb with the ability to manipulate you. If you're in our position, how do you defend against that? How do you defend against somebody who will say that? Not only say it publicly and post it on the internet. This was on Facebook, I guess. And she, I guess, mirrored it to YouTube.
It starts early and it's aggressive. And if you don't believe me, spend some time with a 2-year-old. You will know.
A 2-year-old, it's early and aggressive. A 2-year-old is calculating their manipulation, their aggressive manipulation against grown-ass adults. These are people looking to take zero responsibility for any of their actions. Oh, right out of the womb. And they believe it. They believe it because they have to believe it.
They figure out very early on how to wrap us around their little fingers. Sometimes It's fun and good and we love it, and other times it's frustrating. But manipulation is part of the human condition, and it can be funny and comical, and it can also turn ugly and emotionally damaging really fast. So let's talk about...
Could you imagine blaming it? And like I said, held to an adult standard is what I'm talking about. Being held to an adult standard as a child, as a toddler, out of the womb. And then at the same time, you're not allowed to grow up. And then they take zero responsibility, zero self-reflection of why your children want nothing to do with you anymore and will not talk to you. Gee, I don't know, because you're saying I came out of the womb aggressively manipulative. What am I supposed to do with this? What do you do with somebody like this? What common ground of understanding do you think you're going to reach with this type of a fucking sociopath? Because this is a sociopath you're dealing with right here, playing victim on the internet.
Got it in a little more serious tone here. What is manipulation? Well, it's being handled.
It's what you're doing right now. This is manipulation.
Or controlled or influenced. And it can be done in a negative way. That is typically the way we think when we think about manipulation. Unscrupulous activities among human beings. That's manipulation.
Unscrupulous. Like, understand something. She's assigning all these unscrupulous, all these words she's throwing out here, she's assigning to toddlers, 2 years old and younger, right out of the womb. Are you serious? Unfortunately, yeah, she's deadly serious.
And it does end up in really emotionally unhealthy relationships.
Do you think?
We
You
don't
think
want-
why? Why? Not because of anything you did, but because you came out of the womb emotionally manipulative. Not them, though. They didn't. Just you. So if we came out of the womb emotionally manipulative, didn't you as well? No. They have no forethought. They have no thought. No, not enough self-reflection to make that connection. Like, no. It's just you.
Want to let the 2-year-old continue to manipulate us all our lives, right, grandparents? We hope we didn't train our children to be manipulators, and we definitely don't want them to train their children, our grands, to be that way. So how do we
What she's talking about here, okay? She's talking about now, not only her kids, her grandkids. So what she's trying to do is prevent her abused children from educating her own children, trying to protect her own children from them. So they're all manipulative.
recognize this type of behavior? And there are several ways that I've either found or experienced, okay? And you can probably relate to a lot of these. Emotional pressure in a relationship. If you loved me, you would just do this. That's manipulative language. And we just have to learn not to fall prey to that kind of.
She's talking about from children. You can't handle a child trying to get their way. This is what I'm telling you. They're all children because they're mental children themselves. So they can't handle it. They don't know how to parent. They never did. They've been in constant competition with their own children. That's why they could say they've been manipulative out of the womb. Holy shit.
Talk and discussion, not act on it. Dramatics in a relationship. Oh, we've all seen the drama queens and kings, and they are so good at bending our emotions sometimes until we are just worn out.
Oh, poor you. Poor you. You can't handle with a child's drama. They're children. That's what kids do. But no, you're viewing this as some type of manipulation. As if this is like some kind of calculated evil. Where the fact of the matter is, they didn't want to raise us in the first place. They wanted us to be like little mini adults as children, and they can't handle it because they're selfish and narcissistic and sociopathic. Only a sociopath could say something like that right out of the womb. I mean, it's you heard it. You heard it yourselves.
And at some point we have to stop and say, no, everything is not a sky-falling issue. Let's back up and kind of look at things in a realistic manner and talk about things, not from a dramatic standpoint. One of the things...
Yeah, this is basic parenting. These are people, and it's the more they talk, the more clear it becomes. These are people who should have never had children in the first place. because they can't handle the basic tenets of dealing with small children. They're children. To call them calculatingly manipulative, I mean, it's
Things that always comes to mind with me when I think about the drama queens and kings is the Chicken Little story. Remember that? The sky is falling, and eventually nobody's listening anymore. And then there really is
it's called a fairy tale. It's called a fairy tale for a reason. Oh, holy Christ.
crisis. That's what we want to avoid. We don't want to get to the point where we're not hearing when there is a genuine need. What about creating feelings of fear, obligation, or guilt in other parties? This is classic bullying. You know, it's also,
From a child.
interestingly enough, classic victim playing. You know, we can play the victim. That kind of goes along with...
They're children. They're children. You're children. This is what held to an adult standard as a child. And she's serious here. She's serious. What is she, 60, 65? 65-year-old woman talking about being manipulated by a 2-year-old? Being guilted by a 2-year-old? What is wrong with you? How could that be possible unless you think like a 2-year-old yourself?
With the Chicken Little story. But bullying has become a major issue.
Being bullied by a 2-year-old from the womb. Being bullied from the womb.
In our culture. And I think we see it exploding as, you know, people are struggling with the results of pandemic, you know, changed cultural norms and mandates and whatnot that people are struggling with, and there's kind of a bullying factor underlying that isn't healthy for us as humans in our relationships with one another. What about...
No matter what, they're the victim. No matter what, they will come and present themselves as the victim. Ooh, ooh.
Somebody twisting what you say to make you question yourself. That's kind of a classic manipulation tactic. Make you doubt yourself. If your children are doing that to you, put a stop to it.
A 2-year-old is twisting me. You're telling me you're being gaslighted by a 2-year-old. She's not talking about adult children. She's talking about grandchildren here. Grandchildren.
Strings attached to favors. That's not a good one either. Meanness covered by just kidding, or meanness done in front of other people. You see spouses fall into this sometime, where they make barbs at each other in front of other people. I've seen it. It's uncomfortable to be with somebody when that's going on, because it makes you wonder what's going on.
Where did they learn it from? Where did they learn it from? Well, it's coping with difficult adult children too, I guess. Okay? She's saying, so she doesn't have to take any responsibility for where they learned it. Manipulative out of the womb. So all these behaviors she's talking about that is now being done by her adult children, they're not learned behaviors. They didn't learn it from her because that's how she treated her children. No. The children were just born that way. They've been manipulative out of the womb since they were 2 years old. And she's serious. She's dead serious.
Going on at home. If they're willing to say these kind of things to each other in public, in front of friends and other family, what are they really doing at home? So,
what are you doing at home? What did you do in their childhood to make them supposedly act this way? Nothing. It's nothing. It's out of the womb. They manipulated out of the womb.
Meanness by joking or doing it in public where it can't be called into question without causing a fight.
That's something only the child learned how to do. That's not something being publicly humiliated and hearing, oh, you're too sensitive, I'm just joking. That's something they learn from the womb, not something they learn because that's what you've been doing to them for decades, right? See how they absolve themselves, this generation. They just, most of them, not all of them, most of them, a good portion of them, the ones who are out on the internet crying about being on no contact with. It's not me. It's not me. They didn't learn it from me. They didn't learn it from me. They learned it because this is how they were born, out of the womb.
Those are kind of the classic ways that people manipulate one another. How do we respond? Now, disclaimer, I am not a psychologist.
I hope not.
But I have lived
enough
life and been manipulated enough that I've learned some things to help me not respond.
So I've abused my children, and they don't talk to me, and I've come up with this to blame, say that this is a lifelong thing, they were born this way, so I have to bear zero responsibility for any of my own actions.
To it, and put an end to it, hopefully. So here's what Dr. Donna has to say, okay? First of all, recognize it. Watch for the signs. If you're uncomfortable in a relationship or a conversation, even if it's with your own child, watch for the signs of what's going on, identify it, and decide to take some action. And that's the next thing. Call it out. Say, I don't choose to let you talk to me that way.
This is why you go no contact with them. Because they are going to twist and gaslight and make you think you're the problem. And take zero responsibility for the decades of abuse since childhood that they have been enacting on you.
Okay. I will not be manipulated. Whatever you have to say in your particular
I won't be manipulated because you've been manipulating me since you were 2 years old out of the womb, right? Right? Whew. They have to go back to the womb to absolve themselves of any blame. That's what they have to do.
And
it's the same shit I heard since I was a kid. You're always a liar. You're always difficult. You're always mad. You're always this. You're always that. Why? Why was I like that? Because it's a reaction to you.
And along with calling it out is just choosing not to participate. Somebody one time gave me some great advice because I was struggling with a situation, and it was kind of the emotional manipulation. And they said, well, just tell them you're sorry they feel that way.
Oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. So what it was is, so manipulation now, okay? You getting this? So obviously, her children were calling her out on her abuse. Now, calling them out on their abuse is manipulation. And what is she getting? You're getting the same half-assed, I'm sorry you feel that way. So what she's saying is, gaslight them. Don't acknowledge their feelings. Don't acknowledge their concerns. Gaslight. When you call them out, they're going to say you're manipulating them. They're going to take zero responsibility for their abuse. They'd rather die. They're going to die on their high horse. I've said that.
And nothing else. Don't argue. Don't question. Just
exactly. Take her advice, abused children. Don't argue. Don't question. Just go no contact. Zero explanation. She knows why. Because if she didn't know why, she wouldn't be putting the blame on you from out of the womb.
Just, I'm sorry you feel that way. Acknowledge that they're feeling strange or acting strange, but don't engage.
You're acting strange. You're feeling strange. You're acting strange. You're the problem. The only way you win is not to play. There is no reason to tell them why you're going no contact. They already know. Because they are going to go back to the second you popped out of the womb to lay blame on you. So you were manipulating them as an infant, as a toddler, as a small child.
When you know it's manipulation. And I had a conversation like that, and I had to say, I'm sorry you feel that way several times in that conversation. But that was a turning point in our relationship. And it has never been manipulative like that again.
Congratulations, you gaslighted your own child. It's not going to last. It's not going to last. I promise you, honey, it's not going to last.
So that's part of what I say. When you call the behavior out and you respond in not an aggressive way, sometimes, and I know not.
So her child was trying to call her out, and she was able to flip the script and make the child think that they're the problem. This is why you don't tell them. This is why you don't confront them. You let them sit there in silence, and you ignore them, and you cut them out, and you cut them out forever, because they're going to take zero responsibility. They will blame you as an infant.
Always, but sometimes it changes the course of a relationship. And
What
if
an
you're,
awful
especially
woman.
if we're talking about adult children that we want to have relationships with, it's worth having that moment of discomfort to change it and make it better, right?
But what if we don't want to have a relationship with you? That's the thing.
And then get help if it's needed. Manipulation can turn into abuse, so get help. There are plenty of professionals out there who are much better versed than I at how to change and stop some of this behavior. So I may joke about, being Dr. Donna, but in all seriousness, if it's dangerous, get professional help. And then finally, choose relationships wisely. And I know that sounds harsh when we're talking about dealing with our children, but there are some times when distance is a little bit necessary. And
as long as you enact it, because when you're cutting out, it's meant to be a punishment. If you have a parent that cuts you out and is like this, they did you a favor. They did you a favor. It doesn't matter. Never talk to them again. Never talk to them again.
it may one day turn out to be what changes the final course of the relationship. I'm a firm believer that relationships can be healed so long as we are living.
Not with you people. Not with somebody who's going to accuse you of being manipulative out of the womb. What's to heal with that? What's to discuss with somebody who would blame a child? They will.
So I always hold out hope. If there's difficult relationships in my life, I hold out hope for them to get better, and I would encourage you.
How many dangerous relationships do you have? You just said plural. How many people are like this in your life until it's them? Not you, right? You're not the common denominator in all this. It's them, right?
You to do the same. But do also understand that sometimes we have to put distance between us and a manipulator for our own preservation.
Exactly, which is why they were calling you out in the first place. They were trying to put distance. But you flipped the script because distance is all right as long as you're the one who enacts it, right? Because that's the power move.
For our emotional health and maybe even sometimes for our sanity. So, difficult topic when we're talking about how to deal with difficult adult children. But we may as well face these issues. We live with a lot of them, and it's just time to start calling them out and fixing them. Be grand, my friends.
No, it's time to call you all out. Because if we don't, we're going to get shit like we've been manipulative out of the womb and mean it. All she's looking for is the power position. To say she's the one who turned it around and you're the manipulative one, and she's the one keeping space. It can't be that you just disappeared and cut them out and that's it, because no, there's no power in that. Absolutely disgusting woman. What a disgusting woman. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm telling you, these videos are all over YouTube. You've been manipulative since birth. That's the story they're going with. So thank you, Miriam, for the contribution. I really appreciate it, and thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with either the Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. Also, be sure to subscribe to both my Rumble channels. Follow me on Twitter and Telegram as well. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Societal Narcissism. Take care, everyone.